Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Horrific Reviews. Mostly I've about the jump, so I'm going like, hi. Anyway, that's the joys of going live. Thought I'd jump on. Just finished watching season 3 of Preacher. Give you the initial reactions lowdown. Not my favorite season so far, but it's not taken away from it, if that makes sense. How do I put this delicately? You can see Seth Rogen trying to dominate and put his brand of humor over stamp. So far, he's been reined back because personally, I'm not a fan of his stuff. You know, it's a bit too. It's not clever enough. You know what I mean? It's like beat around the face and just felt a bit crass. You know what I mean? I'm not a massive fan, but he is what he is. He's been a contributing factor and this show so far, and I think because the other two guys, at least he's been reined in a bit. I think this season he's tried to dominate and push it out, and I think it was getting close to getting in danger of ruining it because this guy just doesn't know when to stop a joke, if that makes sense, or what's something he thinks funny, he'll just drag it on till it becomes not funny anymore. You know, and you actually get a bit bored and repetitive. So there's still a bit of reining in there, thankfully. So it hasn't gone full Seth Rogen yet. I'm worried about season 4 because if this is, I haven't done any research into the background or why it was cancelled, but I have a sneaking suspicion if this is, it's probably him. If this show's been put in the back burner or stopped, it's probably because of him, because he's just that sort of person, and I think he ruins things. You know, it's just my personal opinion, but you can agree or disagree. You know, it's up to yourselves. But carries on from last time. So was he Jesse rushing to, we now knows his grandmother's house, Marie the Angel, to save Tulip's life? Bit of a strange decision because now we start to see the full backstory unfold of Jesse's background, what happened with his father, all that kind of stuff. So the decision for him to go back and put himself in that position didn't make sense. But they got it, the wrong with it. It's part of the plot. Things need to happen. So there we are. To me, is where I've liked season 1 the best so far, especially when it's run multiple plot points, but it's had the bravery to tie up a plot end mid-season and not just leave it hanging. This, they've kind of dragged out a plot point until the end of the season. It's like you're keeping everything going. This is why I'm not a fan of TV. I never have been. This is the problem with TV series, TV shows. Because they have to keep going and going and going, they can't stop the plot. We're starting to see it now. Everyone going around in a circle. You know, the worst are soap operas. There, you know, I mean, it's the same characters. They've always got a reason to interact with each other and spin around. And real life, you know, there's that much animosity. You just would not give that person time of day. But because of TV, because people are forced to kind of interact, we're seeing that. We're seeing power games and backstabbing. Not just with Jesse's plotline, but we revisit the Grail organization and what's going on there. We'll go to hell. We'll see the politics playing there. We'll see what's going on with God and the politics he's playing. And it's just this is where TV shows, I think, I don't know, just my humble opinion, they should have a start. Babylon 5 did it brilliantly. They had a story arc that lasted 5 seasons, and that was it. Start to end. And if it never got finished, it never got finished. But at least the plot point was there. Alex Straczynski, he's a good writer anyway. Yeah, still worth a watch. So have Jesse, he's back, basically in his grandmother's. I'm gonna find out she's a local witch. Magic's real in this universe. You know, I mean, it's almost black market stuff. It's like an open secret, so everyone's kind of blasé about it. So, in terms of, like, you know, a lot of shows deal with supernatural stuff, it's always hidden. and a secret world. This is just literally above the surface. Anyone can just scratch and find it. It's not that well hidden. Even the vampires and stuff, what we're used to with vampires being super secretive. Not really. You can bump into one and get involved. It's just that's the universe that we've got here, which is fair enough. It works well because then you don't need the tedium of trying to hide everything. It's just out in public and people are just like, meh, supernatural stuff, and that just seems to be that the general public is just blasé about everything. There's massacres, there's gunfights, there's things exploding, and everyone just takes it as a matter of course. But not just like gangbang, like bodies getting dismembered, ripped to pieces. Very Ash versus Evil Dead, but not as good. That's where they're kind of going with the guts and gore with this. I see them kind of being influenced by it. I don't know when this came out in 2018, I think. I need to remember when Ash vs. Evil Dead came out. It's been a while. I always think these things come out yesterday because they're still in the forefront of my mind. And I still see that stuff as kind of new, but that's the joys of being an old fogey. So what we'll find out anyway, that Jesse owes a debt to his grandmother. This is the first time he's been back to their home after him running away when he was like late teenager and in the adulthood. So there's a lot of bad blood. We also find out that it's actually his grandmother and her stooges that killed his father to bring him back, and we see actually that his mother was part of that household at Angelville, and it was because of her betrayal. This woman is not a good, she's a horrible person. She's one of those it's all about power. It's not about love, it's about power and control and that kind of stuff, and it's just horrible. It's horrible I don't like it. I don't like being through it. I've seen it in real life. I don't like that kind of stuff being played out. Especially with TV, because they drag it out, it's effectively dragged out over 10 hours. So there you have it. Jesse's back. He's now put himself back in the grips of this woman. We have Tulip won't listen to him, and then she's messing up stuff. He tries to play the Grail to get his soul back so he can have Genesis again and use the power. That gets fluffed up because Tulip messes it up. Cassidy's just being Cassidy. He's a better story arc this season. He's been a bit of a spare tire season 2, but season 3 he's kind of come into his own as a character, which I'm quite glad with because he was one of them characters easily, could have been gotten rid of. He didn't really do too much in season 2, but season 3 he's kind of went off and have his own story arc, which is cool. So this is basically what's happening. We now find out as well, because her star wants Jesse to be the Messiah, he then makes a deal with Marie to borrow Jesse. I know all these entities are planning to double cross and betray each other, so there's a lot of Game of Thrones type stuff going on, which you kind of know, but it's not going to resolve itself to the end of the season, so it gets a bit. I can't watch too much of it. If it was like 7 or 8 seasons, it was just all that stuff, I'd get bored and switch off because, especially like horror or supernatural stuff, I like adventure. I like almost episodal. I love supernatural. The reason that went on for like 15 seasons is because they had a good mix of episodal and series, so you had a good balance there. But I digress anyway. This is kind of falling short of that. And I'll be interested to see season 4, but I have a funny feeling if the new season 4 is going to get cancelled, they'll do a lot to wrap it up. If not, it'll be open ends, but I don't think it'd be worth dragging it out. I think this is going to burn out. Like I said, one of my previous reviews, there's danger of burning out now because they're just rehashing and going through. We don't see Eugene and his plot until like episode 6, so just over halfway past the season until we see Eugene and what's happening with him. Effectively, we meet Satan as well, which was fun. really around this character. I actually quite liked this character. I'll be honest. The worst depiction of Satan was in what do you call that show? Sabrina the Wooden Plank. You know that remake they made on was it Netflix? It's boring. I hated that Satan. My favorite one has to be Lucifer. Tom Ellis playing Lucifer. That's my favorite depiction so far of any TV show or movie. Possibly Robert De Niro in The Devil's Advocate, but so far Tom Ellis is my favorite Lucifer slash Satan. Um, this guy he's very Hellboy esque. You know, he looks like Hellboy, and he's a comic character. I actually like him. You know, he's actually good, just doing his thing. We're seeing the repercussions as well. Hell has now found out that God's gone missing, so they're like, oh, we can just go pluck people from the mortal realm. We can do whatever we want. Part A, you know, that's their kind of mentality and all this. So we're seeing the ramifications of this. So Satan basically brings in the Saint of Killers again. He's actually a good character. I like him. But effectively, he's like, right, go get them. So he sends Saint of Killers up the Earth to find Eugene and Hitler. the Hitler storyline. He's now David Hilter, and he works in a sandwich place. And already he's got acolytes and another fun character. Who's the plays Hitler? Noah Taylor. Need to look him up. I think I've seen him before, but yeah, he plays this character really well. A lot of fun. But he's settled into his life, and already he's starting to plan the next World War. You know, he's got his own plans and stuff, and just people gravitate to him, just showing his charisma and that, which people don't give enough credit to that. Someone with charisma and the ability to narrate and bring crowds in can either do really great things or really bad things. And also depending on your point of view, you know, somebody might think sticking 6 million people in the oven's a good thing. You know, if you're not quite there, a lot of people, you know, think it's important. But that's somebody like that though has that power, and it's interesting to see that power being wielded. That's what this season's all about. It's all about power. It's all about power over others. So we'll have this whole thing going on, and then the team's falling apart. So the trio, Jesse, Tulip, Cassidy, they've all fallen apart. There's mistrust there now. Cassidy and Jesse's falling apart. Cassidy finally tells Jesse that he slept with Tulip. That's caused the rift. He tries to warn Cassidy about telling his family that he's a vampire because they'll basically string him up and there's pictures on the wall and stuff. So Cassidy doesn't listen, near gets killed. Then find out what the tombs are about. So underneath the slave quarters in the plantation are a set of tombs where basically they have cage fights, you know, bare knuckle fighting between people who owe Marie. So if you don't pay your debt, you get captured, you go down to the tombs, and then you're capped there, and then you're busy the rest of the town come and bet on them who, you know, basically bare knuckle fighting. You know, it's all very grimy underworld type stuff. The thing is, even though there's lots of money changing hands and stuff, the place looks like shit. They live like shit. Her problem is her mortality. So we find out as well that she lives by essentially sucking the souls out of others. So she's almost like a mini devil character herself. She entraps like a loan shark. Think of a spiritual loan shark. She entraps people. That's her whole thing. Entrapping people into owner, and then she calls in her debt, and basically, you know what I mean. If you basically don't deal with her, you know that's one of those things. It's you just don't get involved with something like that. But these people are parasites. They prey on the weak, the lonely, the desperate. People get themselves into situations, and they're just seen as chattel. You know that's why they look at it. These aren't people to them; they're just property, and it's all about power. But what they're doing with the power, you know, I mean, they're still living in a shitty swamp, and it looks awful, and like all the money in the world just not a nice lifestyle, but that's, I suppose that's broken people. You can give broken people all the money and power in the world, and they'll never do anything with it. That seems to be like a running theme throughout the show. This season, anyway. It's all about that. We also meet the Allfather, who is the head of the Grail. See her star, who he defers to, and this guy's just big, humongous, gluttonous creature. And this is where I'm talking about the Seth Rogen humor getting a bit too far, because that character is, you can see it's a Seth Rogen construction. You can see the over the top. The guy's gluttonous, so he just stuffs himself and then he vomits so he can eat more. And this, the stupid spray out of the mouth, it goes on that wee bit too long. So it gets to that point where it's like, okay, stop now. That sort of stuff. So that's why I'm saying I can see the stuff going on. You kind of get familiar with directors and creators and stuff, and you see their work, and you can kind of see their signature and stuff. You know where it's coming from. But yeah, this guy's horrendous. He is, where her star wants to control the world and bring out the order. This guy just wants to light everything on fire. He wants to launch the nukes, and whoever survives becomes a faithful. But someone like that, absolutely nuts, will never be satisfied. They're just the way they are. They're a broken person, but that's the person her star has to defer to. But then he's making a plot. His whole idea is to make a plot to use Jesse as a new messiah, to replace Humperdoo, who's the 25th line of Jesus, simple creature. But now we find out that they've cloned him, so there's like thousands of them. They're trying to capture Jesse, so there's a load of stuff going on. They come to visit Marie. They make her a deal. She wants so many souls to basically rejuvenate herself, and they need him to go and do stuff. Then they come up with a plot. So Tulip goes with the operative that killed her, and once again, that's the bitching between those two went on a bit too long. It was a bit too far. We'll get there's antagonism between them. We'll get there's a debt needs settled. But her rubbing in, setting herself up to get killed, and that just went on a bit too much for me. So it was alright for a couple of scenes, but it went on too much. They go to Tokyo to basically raid the Happy Soul Go company, whatever it is, which turned out the Crucible owns. So there you go, everything's all connected with there. Tulip meets God again, who's basically telling her that he has a plan for her. She's calling him all the dickheads a day. He's a bit like a petulant child, None of, like, God or Satan are not portrayed as like good or evil. They're just arseholes, you know what I mean? And I think it's deliberately done so. I think it's the whole idea of, humanity's the best. Your time's done. I think that's kind of the message trying to bring here. We'll see where it goes. So all that stuff's going on. I'm trying to think, because I crammed this in over 2 days since my last review. To get the souls to pay off Marie, which then suppose release Jesse from his debt, but Marie's no intention of doing it. She's also bound herself to Tulip, so they can't kill Marie or else Tulip dies. So it's all that sneaky stuff going on and that, and you're kind of, when it does that, I'm kind of going, could you hurry up and get to the end and resolve this? Because one thing I'm glad is they don't drag it on to another season. They kind of wrap everything up at the end, so that's thankful at least, because nothing worse than having all that stuff and you can't get rid of a character because the plot needs them to be there, but they always have to be in each other's face, and then it's all this circling and going around. Jesse, after things go wrong, he's found out to be a vampire. He's captured. He's brought down to the tombs. He's made to fight people. Jesse basically chops up. He basically says, well, he can get chopped up, he can get stabbed, he can get shot, all you have to do is feed him with blood and he's back the next day. But Jesse finds a way to get him out. Cassie goes back to New Orleans. He meets another vampire, and it's almost like Interview with the Vampire. Who do you call him? Not just that. Antonio Banderas is one. Oh god, this is where notes would be helpful. But you know Antonio Banderas' character, the guy's very similar to him. Those two end up in a relationship, and they find out that this guy has a cult, basically has followers. So there's a whole plot line there of Jesse dealing with this. Then finds out that this guy's essentially eating him. Curious, is it? So he's turning these kids into vampires, and then he's feeding on them, and that's why he becomes more powerful. And that's a whole plot line and stuff, and betrayal and stuff. And then the Crucible are trying to capture Cassidy because they want him as bait for Jesse. Basically, they want leverage. Everyone wants leverage on everybody else to play their games. So that's kind of the whole thing, the back and forward. Thankfully, it's only 10 episodes. If this had been like a TV network 24 episode, thank God your head would be just pounding. So the lucky thing is it's only 10 episodes, so they'll have to condense it. If this dragged on for like the normal 24 episodes, you just switch off. You get sick of it. Sorry. Give me a second. And that's basically what's going on. We see the plot between her star and the Allfather. Because the Allfather basically wants to bring down Armageddon. Her star wants to use Jesse to get rid of him and then stop the plot. That all goes out, and like I said, that whole scene just dragged on a bit too much. The Allfather is wanting to take Genesis out of Jesse and put it into Humperdoo, and then they keep having the genetically like this doesn't work, but they're essentially using genetics, supposedly, right DNA structure to make the right good and bad between that composes Jesse, so it's the right conditions for Genesis to move in another host. And you just see all these Humperdoos exploding. And that's what we find out he's been cloned, and then once again, it just goes on about too long. But that all gets resolved. Jesse gets his soul back, gets his power, and then he releases all the Humperdoos because he finds out that there's thousands of them, just being cloned, evolving in this building. And they're effectively like cattle. And, probably why they're also, because if you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, that's what you're going to get. So it all gets resolved. Her star's now in charge, totally. What else do we have? We then have Jesse. Cassie deals with is it Aquarius? The other vampire, anyway. Jesse deals with him. That all gets resolved. He goes back to the family home. He essentially takes revenge. He gets that all sorted out. He finds a way around it. Turns out that Marie makes a deal with the devil. So Satan comes up to Angelville, makes a deal that if she gets killed, Jesse gets a soul, which is like making deals for other people's souls and stuff. Yeah, but too much. This is where they're starting to stretch. And this is where I'm, thankfully there's only one more season. If this stretched on for like 7 or 8 seasons, I'd have a major trouble with it. But thankfully this all happens. Jesse resolves it. Cassie resolves his. Tulip gets captured because make a deal with the devil. So the devil sends up Azrael, the angel of death, to capture Tulip. And it all converges because you've got the Saint of Killers. He goes and captures Eugene Hitler. He's bringing him back to hell. Azrael's bringing back Tulip. But she's bringing back the other person. Tulip messes up again because she has to go back for the soul. Like I say, it's all up for the butts. They all end up in the bus going to hell. bit of a convoluted plot. Hitler's built up a small Nazi regime, and this is where it's got Seth Rogen all stamped up, because you got bringing the Nazis and some of them got MAGA hats, so they're bringing dumb young politics into it, which is just freaking headache inducing. Yanks, understand, the rest of us don't give a shit about your politics. It's poison. We've got our own problems. We don't need your politics shoved into our faces and your fights and stuff. Honestly, the rest of us need a break. We haven't had a break from this nonsense with you lot from 2016. You just get on and on and on and on and on and on. Just give it a rest now. It's boring. But yeah, that's what I say. You can just see it's all happening. That all gets a bit convoluted. Seeing the killers, he carries out his mission. He has a fight with Azrael, because then it turns out Azrael makes a comment about his family getting killed. She asked did the ravens peck out their eyes before or after they did, and then it turns out that Satan's actually had something to do with it. His family dying to make him who he is. So there's all betrayal, and then it turns out now Satan and God sit down together and make these plans. So once again, it's all betrayal, power, playing with people's lives that don't need to be played with over stupid games. It's very real worldly, because the same people that are putting this out are the same ones that are playing the games, which is kind of funny. But that's what we got. Morons that have too much time in their hands and have too much money mess with ordinary people. And that's what this is basically saying, which I can sympathize, because we can see it happening now, and it's pissing me off, because I just want to live my life in peace. And the millionaires have their mansions and helicopters and private jets, but just stop preaching and get away and stop playing your games and trying to control everything. Just stay in your little bubbles and make shows and entertain us, or don't. You can get your adulation in your peer groups. We don't have to be part of it, but they seem to need us, the ordinary people, to bow down before them and say they're wonderful. It's not enough that their own peers say it. We have to say it, and it's like, I think as we're kind of fatigued with TV, especially. TV is like the lowest form, apart from a couple of shows. Over time, generally TV is the lowest form of entertainment. I would say these series, like Amazon, Netflix, all that kind of stuff, they're a slight step above like network TV. That's why most people are moving away from network TV, because they're sick of it. They'd rather a season something come out that's well thought of, and a plot and an idea behind it, than just pump out every week like soap opera stuff. Now, that's the worst thing about the UK is most people here watch network TV still. They're still enthralled by the stupidest reality celebrity shit and all that, soap operas and all that kind of stuff in TVs. That's kind of what the normies watch, and that's just crap. This is falling into that realm because they're trying to compete and pump out more content. And you can kind of see the way these streaming platforms are now going the same way as TV, that there's too many of them. They're competing with each other, trying to pump out more shit, and they're losing the quality. And you can see it happening with this show, like in this season. I watched it. I'm not super excited by it. I wouldn't watch it a second time. That's where I'm at with this now. I'm happy to watch season 4 to see how it ends. And is it left on a cliffhanger because I thought they were going to get renewed, or to wrap it up? I think I kind of lost. Season 1 was great. You had an interesting idea, and it could have been episodal, just go on an adventure and search and just encounter weird stuff instead of bringing all these plot ties together. But you've seen the killers. He brings Eugene Hitler to hell. The devil in, lets it drop that him and God were talking about his family and the plans. He gives, as the agreement, he gives him those weapons back. And of course, these weapons can kill angels and demons and devils and gods. So he kills the devil, basically, shoots him, and then brings Eugene with him, says, you don't belong here. So there's almost a kind of him becoming the anti-hero rather than just the villain. He's still got it in his head he wants to kill Jesse, And Eugene's kind of like, oh, that guy left me here. Because Jesse's effectively forgotten about him. If you think about it from the end of season 1, Jesse has not mentioned Eugene once. And it was only because of Tulip walking into the scenario and Eugene calling out there, they wouldn't even give him a second thought. As far as they're concerned, he's gone. That's got a sting, and it's basically, there's no fault of the boy. He didn't actually die. He was literally sent to hell by the power of Genesis because Jesse was frustrated. So there's resentment there. That's obviously what they're going to pick up with the 4th season. Hitler takes over hell. You just see him starting to give out orders, and Azrael instantly defers to Hitler because he's there at the throne. And then we see the Saint Killers teaming up with Eugene to go back to Earth to hunt down Jesse. Both Cassidy gets captured by the Grail. Sorry, I was saying the Crucible earlier on, but the Grail, the heads. Make a mistake. That's what I'm literally just off watching the episode 10, so I just thought I'd get this out as quickly as possible because there's a lot of strange stuff planned, so this is the only time I'm going to get to do it. And that's really it. That's where we're set up. Her stars now Supreme Commander or ruler of the Grail. He's preparing for war. He has Cassidy as a hostage, as bait. Tulip's teamed up with Jesse again. Jesse wasn't going to kill his grandmother and then decides to, because he didn't feel resolved. He was going to just leave her, made her destroy the souls. He's got the power back, but then he said, no, this woman needs to die. So he kills her with her own soul-sucking machine, burns the place down. Now we're getting ready for the sort of final confrontation. There's thousands of Humperdews running around the world now, out in the city. And that's essentially where we're left with this. Like I said, there's bits just dragged on too much. I saw a wee bit of it in season 3. I'm seeing the Seth Rogen kind of effect happening here with his particular brand. And if you enjoy that stuff, you enjoy that stuff. But I just think it goes on a bit too much. And it's not my ideas. No, I can't watch too much. He's somebody. If I see his name in something, I'm not gonna get too excited about watching it. But I can watch him in small doses. But generally, yeah. And there we go. That was season 3. A bit longer because once again they're convoluting out these plot points, which is frustrating because this could be a really tight episodal. Could be episodal and have the overland plot. Be a really tight series. This is where they're jumping the shark with us. But we'll see how season 4 goes. I'll probably do that during the week. Keep an eye on the channel with lots of stuff going on. I'm getting really busy. Live stream tomorrow. Going to be with the guys behind It Came From Somewhere in the movie channel. RJ Herman and Anne Aaron are coming on to have a chat with me. We've got our Horrorific Tales episodes, more unboxings coming soon, all that good stuff, more of these streams. Do me a favor, if there's something you want me to talk about in terms of movies or series, drop us a line in the comments and give me a bit of an idea, and I'll have a look at it if I haven't watched it already. I'll give you my thoughts. We'll still have next week. We still got another horrific talk spot. So Cameron and I getting together again to talk about The Witch, which will be good. So it's all on the channel. Have a look. Keep an eye on our social media. If you want, sign up to our email list. We've got a mailing list now, so once a month send an email, just keep everybody up to date with what's happening. And that's basically it. So until next time, folks, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.